right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. My name is Sam Debussy. I'm a senior worldwide QuickSight go-to-market specialist. And really my role is to support our customers around the globe in their journey to modernize their BI platform. And I'm also going to be sharing the stage with a few people. Maitri Shah is my colleague from Amazon, and she is a senior technical program manager for Amazon QuickSight. But we're both extremely privileged and happy to share the stage with two of our customers that are joining us. Ravi Reddy is a data analytics manager for Whole Foods Market. And also we have Roberto Figueira, who is the head of data analytics engineering platform for Itaú Unibanco, who's joining us from São Paulo, Brazil. I know this is the last session before some meals and beverages, but I promise you we have a very exciting agenda that will keep you guys engaged. I'll talk about an overview about Amazon QuickSight and the benefits it brings to our customers. Maitri will talk about migration best practices and also resources available for our customers through the process. And then Ravi will share Whole Foods Market journey to Amazon QuickSight, and Roberto will talk about Itaú Unibanco's journey to Amazon QuickSight. To start, let's talk about a little bit about the benefits that our customers have seen through their migration to Amazon QuickSight from different platforms and different BI vendors. Already thousands of customers have done this migration, and what they've seen is they've had an increase in BI usage, high ROI, and the decision makers that decided on that migration are often seen as heroes because of the lowering the cost they've done. So a recent study that has been done by the Enterprise Strategy Group validates the economics of migrating to QuickSight. That study surveys thousands of customers that have done that migration from a competing BI vendor to Amazon QuickSight. And that study shows that our customers were able to decrease the cost by up to 75% over 3 years. So that's basically our customer paying only a quarter of the cost of what they used to pay. And also, furthermore, we're seeing that it's increasing the BI users and BI usage significantly. And that's anything between 157 to 300% increase in BI users. That means more users within the organization are actually using data and insights at the time of making decisions. And also 275% ROI. So who are these customers? Today, a testament to QuickSight's strength and growth, we have over 100,000 customers and growing. And these customers really span across all industries and all use cases. So let's talk a little bit about what use cases QuickSight covers. QuickSight is a complete and a unified BI platform that really caters to all users, both internally inside an organization and externally if our customers want to embed to their customers. And studies show that customers on average in the industry are using 2 or more vendors for their BI use cases. It could be a vendor for reporting, another vendor for embedded embedded dashboards, a third vendor for natural language query. And what this really creates is a silent environment of BI, lack of governance, lack of single source of truth, and it also means that our customers are paying for different training, for different vendors and different tools, and different licenses. And more rather than usual, these vendors don't actually have the latest generative AI and ML capabilities. With Amazon QuickSight, you're going to have a unified service at hyperscale that is fully managed. You're going to have that end-to-end process, BI process, available from a single UI. Our users are able to connect to the data, do the data prep, create the assets, whether it's a dashboard or they're creating an analysis, and then decide how they want to deliver it to their users, whether they're going to deliver it through a story, an embedded dashboard, or they're going to deliver it through a paginated report. And that's all done from one unified platform and powered by generative BI, empowering these users. Another concern that our customers really have is scale. So our customers, or customers in general, within utilizing a legacy BI tool, they need to plan for scale, plan for resources, and also forecast usage to understand how much resources they're going to have. And this is a constant battle where we're going to see customers either having overcapacity, where they plan too much resources, not enough usage, which means they're paying extra more than they need to, or undercapacity, when they're going to have lower resources than the demand. And what this means really is bad performance. The more users they're going to have, the worse the performance that they're going to have. And to be able to fix that, it's not an easy fix. It's cumbersome. It's not real time, and it's very costly. With Amazon QuickSight, you're having a cloud-native tool that automatically scales in real time without any user intervention, and taking away that complete burden about having our customers to plan for resources and capacity. Last point I want to talk about is the ease to manage QuickSight and the cost reduction. Today, with legacy tools, customers are asked to commit to multi-year contracts. They have to, most seldom than not, manage servers, manage their upgrades, manage the maintenance, manage the software, do the software upgrades, do the patching. With Amazon QuickSight, it's a completely managed tool. It's pay for what you use, pay monthly as well, 0 servers to manage, and it's always up to date. And customers can really focus on insights rather than managing resources. I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Maitri, and she's going to walk you through the migration best practices. Thank you, Maitri.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, everyone. I'm Maitri Shah. I'm Senior Technical Program Manager at AWS, and I help teams find success on QuickSight. So before we get started, I want to know how many of you in this team have been through migration? Can I see hands raised, please? Quite many of you. I'm sure you'll relate to this. Migrations can be expensive, time-consuming, and they impact day-to-day business operations. They can also be disruptive, not just for the teams that are conducting migrations, but also for the end users. But if done correctly and planned in a right manner, they can have significant long-term benefits, some of which Sam already covered. But by migrating to QuickSight, you are essentially empowering your end users to self-serve and leverage AI/ML capabilities. You don't need to worry about managing resources or servers. You can focus on visualizations and building visualizations for your business. Essentially, you are also modernizing and QuickSight with QuickSight as one-stop shop solution. Now, let's talk about some of the best practices of migrations. Before beginning migrations in the planning phase, it's essential to identify how migration is going to help your end users? What are the benefits it's going to bring for your customers? It's important to compare your existing BI with QuickSight to truly understand return on investment. Next, form a goal with your team, with your leadership, and seek alignment so that you have your leadership support. They understand why migrating to QuickSight is beneficial, so it helps with prioritization and planning. Third is setting up a date, setting up a timeline. Usually, when teams migrate to QuickSight, they have a cutover in mind, which is essentially the renewal timeline of their previous BI tool. Aligning QuickSight migration with that timeline with a cutover date and working backwards from that timeline allows parallel testing and helps your users get comfortable on QuickSight. Lastly, form a tiger team, a core team consisting of admins who will have access to both BI tools, your previous BI tool as well as QuickSight, who will be responsible for managing access, permissions, and security guidelines. Then builders. Builders are BI engineers, business analysts who are responsible for developing reports. And then you have testers who will be end users or early adopters who will sign off on the reports and help with user acceptance testing. Next, let's talk about build and execution, which is also very important while planning migration. QuickSight is easy to use and easy to get started, but it's still important to do a mapping exercise between previous BI tool and QuickSight to compare entities and assets like data sets, data sources, visuals, calculations, because they may differ. Building usage and administrative reports in previous BI tool as well as QuickSight is important because from that you can gauge how many assets are actually being used, how many of them are stale, unused, or duplicate. And you might want to prioritize only the used ones, the active ones, or you may not want to migrate the stale ones at all, which in turn saves time, effort, and money. As you can see, more than 30% of assets are found to be stale or duplicate when this exercise is done. It's also important to identify business critical reports such as weekly business reviews, your monthly reports that leadership is looking across your organization and migrate them first. To even further simplify and accelerate the process, assets that can be migrated programmatically using QuickSight APIs should be prioritized so that you are shrinking the change and accelerating the process. While going through different phase, planning, build, execution, it's also essential or rather important to build on the wins and communicate that with your broader team so that you are gaining more confidence and aiming for seamless migration. I want to quickly touch on some of the resources that we offer for migrations. Like I was previously mentioning, assets that can be built through QuickSight APIs and managed through Assets as Bundle will help your migrations. This is important for businesses with thousands of reports, multiple accounts, hundreds of folders, because manual migration is not a feasible option at that point. We also offer some of the migration. We also have migration partners. Essentially, our AWS professional services team would work with you on your migration goals end to end. We also have AWS BI partners, BI migration partners rather, who have acceleration mechanisms to help you jumpstart your journey to QuickSight. And you can find more information about AWS professional services and AWS partner migration tools on AWS Marketplace. Lastly, to encourage use further, we have funding programs for large enterprise organizations. For example, annual spend commitment is customized, scalable pricing for large deployments who are looking at migrating thousands of assets into QuickSight. We have Migration Acceleration Program, which is MAP, which helps you reduce your cost. And we also have industry-specific programs that help offset your cost even further. To find out more about these funding programs and see if you and your organization qualify, you can talk to account manager or reach out to AWS account management team. With that, I would like to hand it over to Ravi Reddy from Whole Foods, who's going to talk to us about Whole Foods' journey to QuickSight using these best practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Maitri. I'm excited to be here today to talk about our migration journey. It was transformative, I would say, because from the decision to get go to the launch, we did it within 6 months and migrated over 20,000 users. I am Ravi Reddy, data and analytics lead at Amazon. I support Amazon grocery analytics across the formats. Amazon Grocery, a quick introduction to Amazon Grocery. We deliver groceries across Amazon.com and also 3 physical store formats, Fresh, Whole Foods, and Go. We also deliver groceries through 20+ third-party local grocery stores as well. And our vision is to create a one-stop shop for groceries and all the household items from the same place. Shifting focus specifically to Whole Foods. Whole Foods operates 500 stores and spread across US, Canada, and the UK. It's a leader in natural and organic foods with the purpose of nourish people and the planet. Coming to the challenges that we were facing with our legacy platform, we were facing extremely poor dashboard performance. Just to put it in perspective, if as a dashboard user, if I'm viewing 5 dashboards, and each dashboard takes me about a minute for it to load, in a year, I'm spending about 4.5 hours. Now, look at this at a scale. If you have over 20,000 users and each one is spending 4.5 hours, we're talking about 80 to 90,000 hours of users' time just waiting for the dashboards to load and not really act on it. So we took on a target of improving this experience from changing the dashboard load time of 1 minute to 5 seconds. So it was a transformational journey, and our customers are enjoying it. The other reason why we also considered migrating to the new platform was also the cost. When we evaluated different platforms to address our problem with poor performance with our legacy BI platform, we also realized that we were paying over 75% more cost compared to what AWS could offer. And given it was a legacy platform, the platform was also bloated. People developed a lot of visualizations. They had multiple data sources. It was not scalable for us to manage all of those data pipelines in an easier way. And at the same time, we also had a lot of redundancies in the dashboards. The same metrics would be present in multiple dashboards as well. So we took this opportunity to also rationalize them in a way that we're presenting the dashboards that really matter to the users and not anything and everything. Right? We also had a lot of complex data source management to deal with. When the data comes from SharePoints to Excels to legacy data sources to AWS infrastructure itself, it was hard for us to manage. We were also at a point where were contemplating between, hey, is this the right timing for us to even migrate to the new platform? Because we were also going through a data migration plan, which was spanned over multiple years. And our concern also was that if we migrate the reporting platform from legacy to QuickSight, if data sources get migrated, we will have to recreate all of those dashboards. So instead, what we chose was to kind of create an interim staging area where we pre-processed all of this data and then linked it to the dashboards in a way that when the migration takes place in the future, we would just change the underlying data sources and you don't have to change anything in the dashboards. So moving on to how we arrived at QuickSight as a solution. Like I mentioned, we did evaluate multiple reporting platforms, and we did some of the proof of concepts to see how our existing reports that were bloated on our legacy platform perform on AWS QuickSight. And we were seeing, just based on that proof of concept, we're seeing 90% improvement in this improvement in the performance in terms of load time. And the other thing that we also realized was the scalability for high user volumes. We don't have to plan really about how much capacity do I need for the upcoming peak when people use the dashboards the most, or when to scale it down, or keep the infrastructure same, pay more, right? So these are all the decisions that you keep taking when you are working on other BI platforms, which we thought was pretty good with QuickSight, where you don't have to really worry about all of those aspects. The other aspects that we considered was the seamless integration with the rest of the AWS infrastructure that we were using, which meant that we didn't have to worry about the security, we didn't have to worry about going to the firewalls and things like that. And lastly, but not the least, the cost was another factor definitely. So moving to our journey on how we went from planning to the launch, our initial concern was that the performance of this BI platform was pretty bad. Every time leaders visit the stores, it is the most frequently complained item during the leadership visits. And we had a mandate from the leadership team to really improve it, but we could go multiple ways to solve the problem. And so we had to consider a lot of factors to really weigh in on whether we migrate to a new platform or whether we fix in the existing platform itself. And also gain the commitment from the stakeholders, because as much as it is a reporting platform that is not really performant, but at the same time, it was also operationally working, and teams were using to make day-to-day decisions. And moving to a new platform which they are not 100% certain if it would work, and if it would work reliably, would mean there is a lot more work to be done to kind of gain customer commitment before we jump into action. So we did a lot of proof of concepts. We demoed how those proof of concepts work vis-a-vis the existing BI platform. We showed them all the options that we considered, and we also showed them examples of how it is working outside of our own organization. And then we created a work backwards plan because we also had a upcoming renewal on a particular timeline, and we wanted to make sure we get most of the users migrated before that contract renewal takes place. So in terms of our phased implementation approach, we focused on all the dashboards that had most number of views and most number of users. So we identify, it's a Pareto principle, right? So you put in energy, 20% effort to kind of get the 80% ROI. So precisely that's what we applied here. So the first 3 months of the migration, we focused on the dashboards which were heavily used and used by most number of users. And with the timeline of March 2024, we got about 20,000 odd users and migrated already. And we're then left with a few users, about 3,000 odd users that had to be migrated. And there were a few reports that were complex and most critical as well. So we wanted to make sure they were in a good place. And then we took another 3 months to wrap up all of them together. So that was our journey on how we migrated. In terms of architecture, I did not overcomplicate this design. So essentially, as you can see, we were trying to get most of our legacy data into AWS environment through S3, in some cases, get them into Redshift to kind of transform the data as required, and then get them into pre-processed data sets created for QuickSight to consume. One other thing that we were really careful about was about the performance. When we were working on the previous platform, we had bespoke data connections and data sources, which were processing data real time when the dashboards were loading, which meant that you're technically running, if there are 20 visuals are running, extracting the data from the database, and also creating calculated columns and things like that, which kind of affects the reporting performance. So what we did was we took a conscious call to process data as much as possible in a way that reporting platform precisely presents the data as opposed to doing a lot of real-time calculations. While QuickSight is pretty good at doing these real-time computations using Spice engine, we still thought it is a lot more efficient for us to pre-process it, so we avoid another hassle at some point in time. And with this architecture, I think the way we have approached it is this pre-processed data box that you see there is the area where we have created all the transformed data. And at a future stage, when we migrate all of our legacy data into AWS, our intent is to change the pipelines that go into this pre-processed data, and then dashboards will automatically start functioning without us having to rebuild the dashboards. Benefits from this launch, we are already starting to see reduced costs, and that's about 75%-ish. And performance, like I mentioned, we went from over a minute of dashboard load time to under 6 seconds. We also had a lot of coffee reports where people would load the dashboard, would go for a coffee. If they're lucky, they would have their dashboards pop up correctly, or they would see a timeout error, and then they'll have to rerun the dashboard. So we moved away from that pretty bad experience to pretty performant dashboard performance at this point in time. And with this performance improvement, we're also seeing a path where we can also leverage more and more AWS Gen AI capabilities that are being developed. So we're closely working with AWS team on those proof of concepts. Lessons learned, I think it is really critical to gain leadership alignment, especially for migrations of this size, because there are a lot of competing priorities in business. And when you don't have your senior leadership buy-in, your resources can tend to shift priorities to other projects, which can delay the overall migration journey. And the second part is the phased approach and the prioritization, ensuring that you're focusing on investing lesser effort and then maximizing your value. In our case, we were looking at the dashboards which had highest usage, and essentially putting in less energy, we were able to get a lot of those users migrated automatically. The other thing that I did not mention earlier was when we started this migration, my team did not have any QuickSight knowledge or capability. We essentially one, we quickly upskilled, and some of you would have noticed, QuickSight is not as complex compared to other reporting platforms. And once we started creating, we realized that all the developers were doing the work on their own and learning on their own, which was not super helpful. So we quickly created a community of developers for this migration, where all of the learnings are captured into the documents quickly and shared within the community. So people they did not have to reinvent the wheel, but they could just rather use the knowledge that their colleagues have developed by developing the previous dashboards. I think those were a couple of key learnings. With that, what next planned for us? We're now trying to optimize some of these dashboards for mobile usage. While these dashboards are already available on mobile and can be used on mobile, we're trying to improve the experience of this usage. For example, if you have a tabular grid with 20 columns, it might look pretty good on your PC, but when you look at it on your mobile, you'll probably see like 2 or 3 columns, right? So we're trying to see how best to optimize this mobile experience in a way that we're not having our store users rely on back of the office systems, and they can access Insight on the go. The second part that we are now looking at leveraging is Amazon's Q capability to kind of get to a place where it becomes more of a conversational BI as opposed to click 10 places to get to your grids, really, right? So I think that's another thing that we're working on now. With this, I will now hand it over to Roberto. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Roberto Figueira, and I'm responsible for the data platform and analytics tools and engineering at Banco Itaú Unibanco. And I want to share with you our journey to migrate 17,000 dashboards from our on-premises data visualization legacy platform to QuickSight. Banco Itaú is the largest bank in Latin America. Our market value is, our brand value is $8.4 billion. We are present in 18 countries. We have 96,000 employees, being 17,000 at IT side. By 2014 and 2015, we started this huge program to migrate, to modernize the entire platform at the bank, from mainframe to on-premises to get the systems on mainframe and migrate to cloud. And not only lift and shift, but to modernize, to rewrite some of the legacy systems. And for the data platform, to become more digital at the bank, we have this mindset to be data-driven. And for the data platform, for the past 3 years, we just decided to migrate from the centralized approach to a data mesh architectural pattern, where we have production domains and consumers domains separated in tenants on the data platform. And with that as a background, we there's a problem on the screen here. Okay. With that in mind, we decided we came to the part of the migrate our data visualization platform from the on-premises to the cloud. The main reasons to migrate was as the same problem that Ravi had was performance. At peak time, our on-premises environment used to have very low performance. It was causing huge impact on the business side. From time to time, we used to have some business people calling us and say, "Oh, I'm not able to open the dashboard." So we had to deal with that. The other motivation was cost reduction, we decided to go to QuickSight. One of the reasons was the alignment with our data mesh approach. The other one was the roadmap of the product. And the other reason was the partnership that we have with AWS and the support that we have with them, which is very important for business continuity. And again, this was the main reason for our decision to go to QuickSight. To give a context on how we designed the architecture of how we integrated QuickSight with our data mesh architecture, just to give some numbers, we have 730 production data lake production accounts. So it's tenants where we have product systems loading data to the data lake. And we have almost 1,300 consumer accounts. The consumer accounts is where the business users are located. They work there to create their dashboards. They build data sets for reporting. So they are located on the consumer accounts. We have 20,000 tables. Those tables are what we consider democratized tables. They are located on those accounts, producer or consumer, but you can share access between the accounts. We have some authorization process to subscribe and authorize the access, but we are counting here 20,000 for the tables that are democratized. If you go to a local account, there are much more tables there. And the total number of tables in the data mesh is hundreds of thousands. So we have, for the data mesh, we have 9,000 users doing data exploration and data preparation, and more than 16 petabytes of data, including user data. So here I have our architecture. On the left side, we have the source systems and producer accounts, where you have the source system ingesting data to the data lake. On the right side, we have the consumer accounts. And in the middle, we have the control plane. This control plane is for data governance, data catalog, data quality. And we have these two pieces here, which is lake formation and glue catalog. So whenever the user, let's suppose that the user wants to run a query here in Athena, or to run a job in the Glue or EMR, Glue jobs will go to lake formation to get authorization to access the table, go to Glue catalog to get the physical address of that data, which is in that account, for example, and then the job will run. So by doing this, we can guarantee segregation and access control for the entire platform. And the mindset here is to, we build this platform in a way that we provide self-services for the business user and for data engineers. So we don't want to, we want to reduce the operational cost of the platform. So everything that we put on the platform, we try to make it as much as possible self-service. So the user decide who will have access to their data sets or not. But there is, when we started to discuss about QuickSight, there was a problem. The people that will view the dashboard is not the same person that will explore and deal with the data, process the data. So we needed a separate access control in a self-services again process. So we have a separate account for QuickSight. Here is the account for QuickSight. And we are using this feature from QuickSight, which is a restricted folder. So now the author is assigned to a restricted folder where the author creates data sources and data sets. The data set is based on the resulting data that they built on the consumer account. They load the data into Spice. And they have subfolders where the author can store dashboards and analysis. And now the author is able to create business users groups. That group is the way we have to access, to control the access to the dashboards. And they are assigned to the subfolder, not to the folder. By this way, the user is not able to access the data set, only the data through the dashboard with all the access control that we need. And then we have more folders depending on a business case or dashboards that we have on the platform. So our migration took like 2 years. 6 months to decide QuickSight, to understand, to talk with the service team on the AWS, to check for the roadmap. Then we had more 6 months for planning and preparing. So we had to understand how to deal with access control and security. We had to integrate with our data platform. At the same time, we had to find ways to the user at the bank. On premises, we have 150 different data sources. Some of them are different instances of databases. Some of them are file servers, and sometimes the user wants to upload a file, a data set from their desktop. So we had to create path network connections for all of these different patterns. We had to build our observability logs and alerts for QuickSight. And as we want to have this as a self-service approach, we had to develop documentation to explaining how to connect, how to create their folder and subfolder and so on, and the onboarding process, how the author will authorize a business user to connect to the dashboard and so on. At the same time, we had to create strategies for billing and chargeback. Spice is the in-memory database for QuickSight. Business user, the authors, they love Spice because as it's in memory, it really accelerates the performance of the dashboard. And we had to create a strategy here because it grows very fast. And at the end, we had to develop some processes to backup and restore of data set and data sources. QuickSight comes with capability to restore analysis, but we wanted to have this for data sources as well and keep it for more time. To build and execute, one thing that was very important was the help from professional services from AWS and from the account team. This support was very important for our journey. And at the same time, we had support from one AWS partner, Compass UOL. They were responsible to rewrite and redesign the dashboards for the platform. And it was very important to support the business user on the migration to rewrite the dashboards. So what we did was to classify the dashboards. Compass gave us a tool to classify the dashboards based on complexity. Then we organized the journey in delivery sprints. We prioritized the dashboards based on complexity and consumption. Consumption being number of views. Complexity because we knew that the most complex dashboards would take longer. So we had to plan ahead and start migrating them first. And for number of views, the idea was to reduce the workload on the server. So migrate those dashboards that have the most number of views and leave the on-premises environment to have a better performance and reduce the peak impact. And we used to have weekly checkpoints to guarantee that we are aligned with our schedule. Here is our timeline. We have a quarterly measurements of migrated dashboards and deleted or merged dashboards. As you can see, we started with 17,000 dashboards. At the end, we migrated 7,600 dashboards, but we deleted or merged almost 10,000 dashboards. The process, we started to do monthly workshops, and again, here is the support from the Brazilian account team and pro services team. We used to have immersion days to kind of give basic skill on QuickSight for the business teams, authors, and AWS used to have, we have these office hours with the business users to discuss doubts and get some tips on how to work. As we started to migrate with successful cases, we started to do some road shows to motivate other users to migrate as well. In the middle of the year, this year, we realized that we were competing with, we realized that we was getting a gap on our schedule. So what we planned and what we migrated. And the reason was we were competing with business priorities. There were some problems with skills on the authors as well. So we need to change a little bit the strategy. And here, executive sponsorship was very important because we asked them to motivate the business users, the authors, to start to migrate. And at the end, we started to call the authors and say, oh, please, do you need help? What do you need to do here? And we start to help them to migrate, to accelerate the migration. At the end, we revoked edit access. And finally, we realized that some dashboards was already migrated, approved. Some business users was already connecting to that, to the new dashboard, but some still remains on the old legacy dashboard. So we even revoked the read access on the legacy platform. So here we have numbers. I think that those numbers for the legacy environment was from December last year. We used to have 32,000 users on the legacy platform. Now we have 34,000 users on QuickSight. We started with 17,000 dashboards. We merged or deleted almost 10,000, but on QuickSight we created more 15,000 dashboards. We used to have 1.2 million views or access sessions on the legacy platform. Now we have almost 900 views. The reason is that some of the most used dashboards we migrated this month, so I believe that this number will increase pretty much in the next month. As I mentioned, Spice is a problem for us. So as you can see, 112 terabytes of data in Spice. Now we are really concerned about this, and we are working on governance and education to govern this. We have 18,000 data sets and 1.7 restricted folder. And this is very interesting because this process to segregate access is working very well for us. As a result, the perception from the user is QuickSight is 10 times faster, and they love QuickSight. And we have consistent response time at peak demand. We improved our governance governance and observability on the platform. And for our side, I received some feedbacks that on the legacy platform, they used to have two different versions of the dashboard, one for mobile devices and another one for desktop. On QuickSight, they have only one version. And for our surprise, it was easy to integrate with other SaaS solutions like Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. And by the same way as by embedding dashboards, and we created another portals. There are some teams at the bank that are creating portals to embed QuickSight dashboard as well. As lessons learned, executive sponsorship is very important. I believe that we would not have achieved the migration the way we did if it wasn't for executive sponsorship. We didn't have a very good training plan. I think that this is important lesson that we learned from this process. The other thing is some users, they were trying to modernize the dashboard to make it different, a little more beautiful, and to modernize the data sources that they have. It was taking too long. We said, no, let's migrate first and modernize. Then you're going to have all the time that you need to modernize your dashboard after migrating. Don't underestimate the complexity and creativity of your business users. They have very crazy dashboards, beautiful but crazy dashboards. And share your needs with the AWS and align roadmaps. Every time that we needed help, Ramon is on the room, so every time we go to Ramon, you say, Ramon, we have a problem. So to have this engagement with AWS is very important. For next steps, we have Amazon Q. In QuickSight, we already did some POC with Amazon Q. And to share with you some of the experience that we had, if you have very skilled designers, they will not see value on Amazon Q. In QuickSight has capabilities to help the business, to help authors to develop dashboards. They don't see value on that. They prefer to go there and build their own dashboards. But for the business user, they see value. The feedbacks that we received was very important. So if you are trying to POC Amazon Q and QuickSight, go to business user. Don't put technical people on the POC. I did my own test. The first thing I tried to do was to break the model. If you put technical people, they will try to break the model. Bring the business guy. He will ask the right question, the right business question to Amazon Q. So I think that they will provide the better feedbacks for the tool. The second step is Amazon Q is still evolving in Portuguese. So we had to work more on the topics to bring more metrics definition and synonyms on the topics. So we are now trying to create, to automate the process to get business glossary definitions and build the topic more automatically. We need to improve our governance on stale dashboards and spicy, as I mentioned. And in an overall strategy for data, we are working on the searchability of data assets at the bank. So we want to provide the user a much more better experience, possibly using generative AI, so they can find the right dashboard for the problems they have. They can find the right 20,000 data sets, the 20,000 tables. What is the right table for the problem that they want to solve? So we want to have a more improved searchability for the data platform. The same with machine learning process and so on. So this is our journey. Now here you have our contact information. Thank you very much for joining our presentation. If you have any question, please contact us. We are here and we will be very happy to talk to you after the presentation. And have a good re:Invent week.